All right, greeting class, and welcome to week number 7. That is right, week number 7 of your 9410 class, which is your cultural heritage class. As always, I'm your professor, Dr. J.S.K. Austin. And again, this one is going to be shorter. This is totally not like me to have all these short check-in videos. Well, for one thing, I think that the content in this class is largely speaking for itself. You all are doing a great job, so I don't need to really ramble on and on like I often do. We have not had the need for that, and I do think that we are yet again in another module this week to where I don't need to ramble very much because you all are you all, I'm reading the discussion board prompts. I'm seeing what you all are doing. You all are engaged. You all did a fantastic job listening to Josh the other night. So yeah, there's not a lot of checking in that I even need to do. All of the midterms were done appropriately. Everybody got full credit for those. There was perfect attendance for the sync session the other night. So yeah, there's not really a lot to say as far as state of the course update. The only thing that I really need to announce is what is coming due soon, and by soon I mean on March the 19th. I went to announcements when I meant to go to assignments. On March the 19th, you do have your Four Heritages paper that's going to be due. And I know that's kind of a weird, it's kind of a weird assignment. People don't really think in this nature that often. Now, again, I'm currently doing my studies on placemaking, but I'm not done with those studies yet, and I can't really incorporate that stuff into this class until I'm done with it. But when I talk about the Four Heritages paper that's going to be due on the 19th, basically, yes, when I'm talking about, if you read this prompt, what you're going to do is write a 4 to 7 page essay style paper, and you're going to talk about how at least four heritages come together in a community, and the community can be a particular neighborhood, it can be a city, it can be a county, it can be a state, it can even be a country, all of that. But try to devise a community and then see how at least four heritages kind of come together and make a unique identity or place make for that particular community. And so because it is an unorthodox type of assignment, I actually do have 2 sample papers that you all can review to kind of get a sense of what I'm talking about. However, you don't need to abide by the sample paper. So if you want to be more creative and you look at the sample papers and you're like, well, this is impeding on my creativity a little bit. Okay, I got you. You don't have to use the sample papers as a guide. Really what the sample papers are there for is to provide a guide for those who may need it, who look at that prompt and are, and are just like, what the hell is Dr. J talking about? For those people, that's where the sample paper could benefit them. But you do have a rubric as well, and I'll be grading to that rubric. So, yes, this will be due in the next few, so just keep it in mind. Don't let it pass you by. And really, that's pretty much it for state of the course updates. Keep on doing the modules. You do have until mid-March if you want to do a cultural heritage project as opposed to a final paper. You do have until mid-March to notify me that that's what you want to do and tell me what you want to do, and we'll go from there. But I've heard from quite a few of you, so I know that quite a few of you are looking to go that route. And then from there, yeah, I just really want to talk about, because I do feel that the content in the module for this week is pretty self-explanatory. I don't think it needs me to elaborate on it very much at all. And so, there we go. We've got these readings here, and all of these readings should be accessible either through the library or freely over the web. Read these readings and then go to the discussion board prompt, and you should be prepared to, once you do these readings, you should be more than prepared to tackle the discussion prompt this week. But what I did want to kind of bring to your attention is something that actually is not indigenous property, but was still acquired by an indigenous population. And when I talk about indigenous, in this case, I do mean American indigenous, or some people use the term Native American or American Indian. There are a lot of different terms. Different people have different preferences. I can't really satisfy everybody's preferences. All I can do is just, try to be as inclusive as possible. But what is interesting to me, and this story actually broke. I'm recording this on the 27th, so this story actually just broke yesterday. But what I found interesting about this is not a real legitimate indigenous artifact or heritage material that was acquired by this indigenous group, but rather this is a indigenous group has now actually claimed I believe it's, from the 70s, 1971, in fact. They have claimed ownership now of this public service announcement of the quote unquote crying Native American. I believe his name was Cody. There we go. Iron Eyes Cody. And this has been a source of controversy for a while. And I will actually put the link to this article. It'll be optional reading if you want to. You don't have to. But this imagery of the crying Native American, just tearing up over the environment, it's been with us for a while, for I guess 50 years now, and it's been mocked in a lot of other entertainment things. And for those of you who don't know, this man was not even indigenous. It came out after his death that he was an Italian American who was just claiming to have some Cherokee heritage. But and I'm sure there are indigenous people in this class. Everybody claims that they've got Cherokee heritage. It's actually kind of exhausting. And especially, I'm from North Carolina, so the eastern band of the Cherokee are actually located in western North Carolina. So I know so many people who claim that they have Cherokee ancestry, and it just gets ridiculous. I'm not saying that, no, I am going to say it. Even though it's controversial, I am going to say it. Not everybody who claims to have Cherokee ancestry has it. And I've had people in my family claim that they were Cherokee, and no, we are black people, and stop doing that. So no, don't get me, yes, before somebody corrects me, there are black Cherokee. That's the whole thing. I'm not going to get into that because we don't have time, but if you Google black Cherokee, there's a lot there. And again, I don't have time to go through all of that. But I will say that what makes this story kind of unique and interesting to me is this is not a real indigenous thing. This is something that features a white man, or if you don't, some people don't count Italians as white, so I do want to be respectful of that as well. This is an Italian man claiming to be an indigenous person, and acting as an indigenous person, appropriating culture, I would say. And yet, this is something that an indigenous group did want to claim ownership of, and I can totally understand, because in my opinion, now I don't want to speak for indigenous people because, again, I'm not an indigenous person, but I could totally see how indigenous people would be like, this is a caricature of us, or it mocks us, or those sorts of things. And so, yeah, I do see a valid motivation in trying to reclaim this and take ownership of it, and rein in this what I would say is blatant mockery of indigenous people. So that's where I am with that. But I did want to, again, I wanted to bring this to your attention because the indigenous people, I would say that few reasonable people would say that the indigenous people are not how should I say this, do not deserve to have their own artifacts and other cultural heritage materials. Indigenous people should have ownership of their things, of their ancestors things, of the people who they share a culture with. They should have ownership of those things. But this is even something that sheds a whole new light for me, because it's not something that was produced by indigenous people, but I feel that it was still reclaimed as a matter of, or it was, I shouldn't say reclaimed, it was claimed as a matter of cultural heritage significance. And so, yeah, I had some interesting feelings about that, and I hope you all have as well. And if you want to talk about it a little bit in this week's discussion prompt or in the free for all section or the water cooler or whatever I'm calling it, then by all means, you're welcome to do so. But yeah, let's keep this. Typically, I know 10 minutes doesn't seem short, and I hope you did speed this up, but trust me, anything under 15 minutes for me is short, and we are going to just kind of end it right here. So I am Dr. Jace, and let's see. How about this? I am Dr. Jace, and mockery of historically disenfranchised people is a disgrace. How about that? Because I always got to end on a rhyme. I love it. I love you all, and I will see you all next week, and we'll talk about some small town and local business heritage, which for those of you who are anti-capitalist, this might be a weird one for you, but just hear me out. I'll see you next week.